Hey guys, DM Scotty here. Good to have you with me again for DM's Craft. A lot of people have expressed interest in seeing tiles that I make. It's kind of a nice way to see what you can do with the tile method. So I was going to show you some of my part of my cavern tiles from my dwarven keep that I made for my latest adventure. And I was going to talk about those and tell you what I did. Let's get to the tiles. So in this part, my characters have come, the player characters have come from here and moved in. They're kind of in a cross section. There's a door with a talking stone head, and it asks them if they would like to try to go into a riddle room, which I have set up. Then there's another passage here, and I've got a stone stepway that goes down to another area. Now if the characters check around the corner here, if they come into here, then I can play this tile, and they can see where that goes. It's another stepway down into another area. So they've got three choices right there which way to go. Now if they decide to do the puzzle room, this door opens up and then they can move into the puzzle room, and I'll show you that. Now here's my puzzle room, and they came in through this door here. This is where the stone head was. They get a riddle, and the way the puzzle worked is they had actually 12 minutes to finish this. So I just started a stopwatch, and then they had once they read the riddle, they had 12 minutes to figure out what the puzzle was. So you can see I've got some pieces on here. Oops, I've got some pieces on here, and in the center. It just took me seconds to set this up. There's also an exit that opens here, so they could leave, and they can leave before the puzzles end. If they don't, they could get entombed in there, which may not be so good. So I was going for a cosmological look, and that's why I have some of that glitter on the tile to make it look like stars, and that was part of the riddle. So basically the characters, once they solve the riddle, or if they just decide to leave, they could go this way or they could go this way. So if the characters decide to go this way, there's a rocky outcropping and there's a grotto below, and I'll show you that tile in just a second. And there's also a cable car there that still looks serviceable, so they could actually take that across the grotto. Now I'll set up the grotto and show you how that worked. So here's my grotto tile, and I'll kind of show you how this all went together. So the players came in. They could go here or here. So if they went here, it ended up right there. This actually goes down. So it would this would actually be further back, but this would go down here, and it would connect with the area there where the boat is. Then the puzzle room we had, this actually would come out here, so that would be like a ledge right there. So now I showed you how it all fit together. I'm going to get a closer look at the grotto tile. So now this grotto is where the fun happens. The boat over here is pretty ancient, and if the characters don't investigate it and try to step on it, it'll almost instantly sink. So when they came in that area, there's some rubbish over there, nothing of value. And the boat, if they fall in, they might try to get in the boat, but it just sinks immediately. It's pretty useless. The walls are smooth, have been smoothed with water running down the walls. So it's very difficult to climb out of here. So this is a stone stepway, and then there's a bridge here, a stone bridge, and it's like 20 feet above the water, which is about 10 feet deep. So they have several options. They could go take the cable car and come down to this side. They could come down here and just walk across the bridge, or they could go here and try to luck with the boat. Of course, the boat is junk and it'll just sink, so that's not the best route. So, but there's also an old dwarven construct here. This was an old dwarven fortress, and it's a cannon, and the players just see it, and it's, you know, it's not manned or anything, so they just think it might be a decorative piece. So if the players take the cable car, try to take the cable car down, every time the cable car moves, the cannon is going to fire at it, and they could take. They're basically shielded from the attack, but they could take residual damage from the metal car being electrocuted. So they would take a little bit of damage, and then they have to hang on for dear life, or they could fall out. Or if they're smart enough, they could lash themselves to the post and not really have a chance of falling out. But depending on how smart your characters are. So also, I had the cannon, so if they try to come across the bridge, the cannon would shoot. Every time someone moves, the cannon will shoot. It gets a shot, so it'll shoot quite a bit. Now, the nasty thing on this side, I had a roper hanging underneath the bridge. So when characters get to this point, and it has a 10-inch reach, so when characters get to this point, tentacles start whipping up and try to grab them. That could be interesting. Also, the cable car gets fairly close to this ledge here, so characters could jump off and try to deal with this cannon that way, which is what my characters did. Someone ended up shoving a bag in the cannon, a glue bag, and gummed up the cannon, and it ended up exploding. But also, when there's a trip here, so when the characters get too close, a portcullis will come down. My players were too engaged with the roper to notice it, and it just came down and trapped them inside. So when I was fighting with the roper, and they discovered what it was, besides just tentacles, I would just put it next to the bridge to show that it was underneath the bridge and the tentacles were whipping up. So it proved to be quite a problem for the players, because they could hardly see it they'd have to get over here, and then they'd be in range of the tentacles, and it was tricky, and it kept grabbing them, and then they'd have to escape, and then not only do they have to escape, they have to worry about getting back on the ledge. So, you know, acrobatics or athletics checks. At one point, a monk in the party ended up knocking the roper prone, so I had the roper fall off the bridge and hit the water, dragging two players with it. And I said, since it had like a stony texture, it just sunk straight to the bottom. So they had to get away and try to get out. So it was so heavy that it couldn't float. It just sunk to the bottom and just kind of crawled across the bottom after them. So finally, what happened was one character got through the door with a teleport, but there was a rusted lever on the other side, so it was very difficult to pull. And she kept failing her strength checks, and the other characters were on the other side trying to lift up the gate, and so it was just hilarity ensued as they tried to fight this thing off, kept grabbing them, and get that crazy gate up. So they finally defeated the roper and got through the gate. But it was a really fun encounter, because the roper was just a lot of aggravation to them. So that's how the encounter went, and that's how the tile was set up. And I have some more tile sections, and I'll show them to you in another video. I'll also show you how I did the puzzle room, so I give you some ideas for a puzzle. So, all right, DM Scotty here, and I'll see you next time on the DM's Craft.